Bonjour, I am the very famous French diver, Jacques Drench. And on this episode of Custom Time, I would like to present to you my trusty dive watch, the Psi-Mariner. This watch has seen its fair share of shark bites. So without further ado, let us get into it, here on Custom Time.
La place rouge était vide. Devant moi marchait Nathalie. Il avait un joli nom, mon guide, Nathalie. La place rouge était blanche. La neige faisait un tapis. Et je suivais par ce froid dimanche Nathalie.
All right, well, welcome back, gang. This is a very cool build I'm excited to show you guys. It is something that it's probably the one that has taken me the longest to put together out of everything. This has kind of been a project, probably a good 4 months in the making, maybe longer, for a number of reasons. But you have a vision in your head and you hope that it turns out like you want it to, and then sometimes it beats those expectations, and I think this has been the case with this build. So let's kind of get into it. So first things first, as you can see, the aesthetics are Rolex Submariner, and that's what I was going for specifically. I was going for vintage, really early on Submariner, before crown guards, mid to late 50s into the early 60s. So that's what I was going for, and I think I did a pretty good job. Not to pat myself on the back too much, but let's break this down. So first things first, this started out as an Invicta Pro Diver, specifically just the case. I got the 40 millimeter Pro Diver case from a friend of mine. And this case has had the most kind of work on it out of any case that I've had before. So I really kind of I did a lot of modifying on this case. Starting off, obviously the Invicta logo is gone. That took a Dremel tool with grinding stones and sanding wheels. On the other side, you can see the crown guards are gone. That was basically the same technique. Suffice it to say, I've got a few Dremel wheels that have needed to be replaced since then. The other bit is a little more subtle, but it's the lugs. I actually reshaped the lugs on this case. You'll see I'll include a picture here of the original lugs. They're quite a bit thicker. I wanted to thin them out a little bit, once again, to give it a little bit more of that vintage Submariner look. I actually probably went a little bit further than what the Submariner lugs look like. They're a little thicker than this, but that being said, when all was said and done, I was quite happy with it. I think it gives the whole case this interesting kind of teardrop shape, where it kind of bulges out here in the middle a little bit more than what you would see on those other divers. So a little bit more on the outside. There goes Watchdog. This is a much bigger crown, as you can see, than what was originally on here. Now, I had to remove the crown tube when I ground down the crown guards, and I just ordered a bigger crown with a matching crown tube that happened to fit perfectly in the hole. I don't remember right now the dimensions. It might have been 2 millimeter crown tube. I don't recall. If you really need to know, I can probably figure it out and let you know in the comments. Other things on the outside of this, the bezel insert. So this is the stock bezel. No changes there. It's a great looking Submariner style bezel, no problems. I like it. But the bezel insert obviously has had a bit of modification. This is the stock black bezel insert from the Pro Diver. I initially tried to put it in bleach to fade it. But straight bleach I've had mixed results with it. So it didn't really get it very far for me. So what I did is I got some bleach-based toilet cleaning solution, or gel actually, and used that, and that worked much more efficiently, much quicker. You have to kind of make sure you continually put some friction and rub the bezel insert as it's in the solution, because that'll make it come off a little bit more evenly, and you don't get kind of patchy spots of different colors on it, which I didn't want. Now, I did go a little further and actually took a bit of Scotch-Brite to the bezel insert as well. You can see, I think if you take a closer look, you can see how it's kind of faded off more on the outside, and that's from the Scotch-Brite plus some of these scratches. And then finally, well, actually not finally, for the finish, I did spray it with that shimmering clear coat that I have, and I think it added a little bit more character to that. Plus, it protects the finish as it is. That Lume Pip is a bit of luminous paint that I have mixed with turmeric, from the spice cabinet, and I think a little bit of cocoa powder, to be honest. Case back is the stock one from the Invicta. Inside, you can see the display case back. There's an NH36 movement in there, which of course hand winds and hacks. All right, well, let's delve into the heart of this matter, and that is this dial. As you can see, this is not some generic aftermarket dial. This was custom made by a gentleman who goes by NP Watches India on Instagram. Me and him designed this dial together, and then he produced it, and he did an amazing job. I was going for a look that's kind of between the Rolex 369 Submariner and the original Submariner, which is why we kind of mixed and matched the dots from the original Submariner design and the 369 from the 369 Submariner. Why I'm calling this the Psi-Mariner, the meaning behind this is, so my background, my day job is in mental health, which is why you see the Greek letter Psi there above Seiko, which is the symbol for psychiatry. Also underneath it says officially certifiable, little tongue-in-cheek there, which all kind of goes into that whole theme. So NP Watches India did all of the looming, the vintage aged loom, both on the hands and on the dial, and that matches well. And I wanted kind of a slightly chocolate patina color, which I think he did phenomenally well on the dial itself. I just, I can't stop talking about how fantastic of a job he did, really. Couple of other accents. Obviously, you can see the domed crystal. This is a acrylic domed crystal to once again go for that kind of vintage diver look, early Submariner look. And then this bracelet is a rivet oyster bracelet. It's not, a vintage one. This is a newly produced one, but it really does complete the look very well. I've also had this on a leather strap with the stitches, which also made it look great. And at some point in the future, I'll probably switch it back. But for now, I'm really enjoying this rivet oyster. It really wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $20. And in reality, these are probably not very expensive to produce because they're all hollow inside. But it's a great bracelet. It really completes the look. I've had a lot of compliments on this watch already, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. All right, well, that's kind of the basic of it, the nitty gritty. Let me know if you have any questions. If I missed anything. If you want to know how to do any of this stuff. Real quick, just on the case. It was a lot of work, and without a grinding wheel, I probably won't quite do quite as much modifying in a case in the future for my own purposes. But it was worthwhile, I think, for this one. So So yeah, so that's that. Hope you guys enjoy it. Cheers, Watch Fam.
Oh, look, it is my trusty dog, Bonbon. Say hello, Bonbon. Life is a prison. Don't look at me. Oh, Bonbon, such a kidder. Always with the jokes. Toodaloo.